Hi there. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about how to use a clicker or a marker. Now, before I start, don't be afraid. Sometimes people get very afraid when we start talking about clickers. But I will tell you right now that if you decide you hate the clicker and don't want to use the clicker, that's totally fine with me. You don't have to. You won't hurt my feelings. I know that lots of trainers like to argue on Facebook groups about you have to use a clicker, you don't have to use a clicker, blah, blah, blah. But we have had a couple limited studies on it, and what they actually found was it didn't really matter what your marker was. What mattered the most was that you used food as your reinforcer. Well, that's not a problem. When we talk about a marker, all a marker is a way to communicate with a dog or any animal. Communicate with that dog in front of you that what they did right then when you made that sound was the behavior you were looking for. So think about it initially like taking a photo of the behavior you want. Right when your dog's nose hits your hand for that touch, click. Right when their rear hits the ground, click. And that's really the starting point. I tend to use clickers a lot when I'm teaching new behaviors. So that might be on sort of a beginner level class. Or beginner level dogs, and then I might not use it for things, and then I'm probably going to pull it out again when I want to do tricks. Because let's say I had a dog who was jumping up all over everybody all the time, and we kept clicking and treating and clicking and treating to keep his feet on the ground. And now I want to teach him to sit up like this. Well, I have to get that dog to disobey and go up like this, and as soon as he does that, I go click, and he goes, oh, you want this? Okay, I can do that. So there are some sort of important things that we start with. The first thing you want to do is you want to charge up your clicker. And so all that means is you're going to pair the sound of the clicker with a treat. So click, treat, click, treat. I'm sure Rufus is here with me, and as soon as he hears me clicking, he's going to start coming for his treats. So I will treat him. There he goes. Treat. Treat, right? Now, if you don't want to use a clicker, you can use other things as markers too. So I also use yes as a verbal marker, and the same thing. I'm going to pair yes and treat my dog, or click and treat my dog, right? Sometimes I work with dogs, deaf dogs, and I will use a little flashlight. So it's a light, treat, light, treat. So anything can be a marker. It's just that you want to, what we call, charge it up and condition them that this sound means a treat's coming. Now, I tend to use this again when I cue a behavior. So let's say I ask for a touch, nose hits my hand, click, treat. Then let's see if Rufus will help us. Come here, Rufy, come here. See if you can see him. Touch. He's gonna have to jump up for it. Touch. You get the idea. It's too low. So you can cue a behavior and then click and treat that. But another great way to use it is to capture behaviors. So your dog just happens to do something you like, you can mark it and treat it. Let's say I'm walking down the street, we pass another dog, my dog looks at the dog and then looks up at me. Oh, click. And I'm going to treat him because I want to build that engagement. Let's say I have a dog that's jumping all over us when we walk in the house or anywhere else. He's jumping all over. I'm just not going to really do anything, and as soon as his feet hit the ground, click, treat. So it's really helpful for really young puppies too, just to catch them doing the right behaviors and be able to mark them and let them know, yeah, that's a good behavior, that's the one I want, and then reinforce that behavior. I have more rules, and there will be a link after this video to a full article in a blog section, so you can take a look at that. But I have sort of three kind of big rules when people are using the clicker. The first one is, if you click, you must treat. So I don't care if you messed up and you clicked at the wrong time. If you clicked, your dog still gets a treat, because I don't want to mess up the power that that click means a treat's coming. Second one is to try not to use it like a remote. People tend to do this with their dogs, and then it is right here in the dog's ear, and then we have a dog that is afraid of it. On that note too, if your dog's never heard a clicker, I always start by putting the clicker under my armpit, muffling the click, and then treating, just to make sure that they're not afraid of the sound. If I have a dog that is really afraid of the sound, don't use it. I'll use a yes marker. Sometimes we can use other items that are lower sounding, but you can also just use yes. By the way, yes and clicker mix and match, right? Sometimes you can use this clicker, sometimes you can't. Sometimes in a household, one person loves the clicker, the other person hates it, that's fine. You say yes, you say the click, we mix and match. Sometimes I forget my clicker, sometimes I have too many things in my hands. So my dog does know both a yes and a click. So we can use them both interchangeably. The last thing is be careful, and it becomes very tempting if your dog is not paying attention to you, to click, and usually people go click, 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 to get their dog to turn around and look at them. But instead, if your dog's not paying attention to you, I want you to hoop and holler and jump up and down and wave your hands and fall on the ground. Act crazy. Dogs love crazy. They're gonna come see what's going on. As soon as they turn around and look at you, click, and guess what? They're probably gonna come right for your treat. So make sure that you're marking the behavior you want, not the behavior you don't want. It's not used to just get their attention. I think that's it for the big points. Go on out there, take a peek, try it out. If you hate it, don't use it. If you like it, great.